Please join me in welcoming the Cookery.
Don't, I got it. It's just slightly premature. It refreshed and it caused a delay. I'm sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Ready to go, everybody?
Hi, everybody. I'm Taylor Gillen, CEO, co-founder of the Cookery. And how many of you here have a love of cooking or know someone else who does, even if you think that you're not necessarily good at it? Well, you're not alone. Over 40% of this country has developed a passion about cooking over the last few years, and it's growing every year. And you can see the evidence everywhere. You can see it on your Facebook feeds, which you're currently looking at right now, and you look at a video of someone showing you how to make cheese bread or a pot de crème. You can even see when you go home at night and you look at your neighbor's door and you see a box from Blue Apron. But where do these budding chefs go when they want to get some hands-on experience to try to take some of the mystery out of cooking? Well, fortunately for them, a few weeks ago, the Cookery opened. The Cookery is a unique, innovative culinary concept that's unlike anything else currently on the market. Our exclusive dinner party style classes cater to the chef in all of us. Each one of our guests that has taken one of our international, regional, or seasonal classes haven't been shown how to make meals, rather guided through the process of making 3 to 4 course meals. Each course is paired with a beverage. At the end of each one, they sit at a large custom-made communal table and they eat it together family style with the rest of the guests. We've even gone so far as to design the entire space to make our guests feel like they're eating in their friend's kitchen. But rather than me just describe it to you, why don't I show you?
There's sound. Well.
So who's our target demographic? Our initial target demographic are married couples who've been married over 4 years and have an average household income of over $100,000. Why? Well, I'm not married, but apparently after 4 years of marriage is right about the time when you start looking for things to do. And married couples that make over $100,000 on average spend $250 on a night out compared to $100 for their single counterparts. And you can see the size of this market here. But it's important to remember that even just here in DFW alone, we're expected to have an increase of over $50 billion in personal income over the next couple of years, which is only going to subsequently grow the size of this market. So how are we getting our customers? We've had an aggressive go-to-market strategy before we launched, and we've maintained it since. We first target print media, because our demographic looks to print media as one of the key reasons, or key ways they find something fun or social to do. Now we've been featured, not advertised, in all of these publications. And Zagat, even this month, has made the Cookery one of the 14 most unexpectedly romantic things to do in Dallas. We've also sought out key opinion drivers. The Dallas Sites 101, organizations like that, bloggers with tens of thousands of followers, anyone with a large network. We've been giving them gift certificates and promotional codes. Because we know that once they try the Cookery and they experience our premium service and premium classes, that they're not going to just be able to get 1 or 2 people to come take the class. They're going to get 10, 20, and in one case, 40 other people to come try the Cookery. And you can see the success of this in our social media. We have over 1,200 followers on our social media platforms. And you can look at our reviews, all of them 5 stars, by the way, and they all say the exact same thing. Incredible food, unforgettable experience, I'll never go anywhere else. Where else is there to go? But here are our key competitors. We have Sur La Table and Central Market. Now obviously, their big competitive advantage they have is their brand awareness. You're aware of them, you know that they exist. But when competing for cooking classes, that's their big disadvantage actually, is the experience that they have. Because their goal isn't to provide amazing food or an amazing experience. Their goal is to have you purchase something in their core business, have you buy a product. They know that this market exists, but they hit the periphery of it and use a cooking class as a mechanism in which to sell you products. One company, I'm not going to say who, but one company even goes so far as to kick the students out in the middle of the class into the store with a promotional code that expires at the end of the class. Now obviously that ruins the experience and only further underscores the premium nature that the Cookery offers, as you can see there on the right. So how do we make money? We have 2 primary sources of revenue. We have public classes, and you can see the unit economics breakdown there. Now the Cookery operates in a fixed cost model. We need 40 customers a month in order to break even. Right now we're averaging at 125 customers a month, but it's growing every week. We have a capacity for one store at 540 customers. Now after 40 customers, we're able to harvest most of that contribution margin and actually roll it in operating profit. We also have private classes. Now, private classes are fantastic for birthdays, anniversaries, bachelorette parties. You guys can keep that in mind for any kind of surprises you might want to throw. But we've also made a concerted effort to try to get corporate events. Because we know that corporations, we can have a longer, more ongoing relationship with them. And these are just some of the companies which have already signed up to do classes of Cookery, some of them multiple times. So who's the team doing this? You have me, obviously. I'm the CEO, co-founder. I'm graduating Cox this summer with an MBA, and before that I was recording for Chaucer. But we also have, more importantly, we have Kelly Huddleston, who's president, co-founder. She's been a professional cooking instructor for over 4 years, all along the West Coast. And we have early employee in Fiona, who's the Cordon Bleu trained, and she's worked at all these fancy different restaurants. And together they create a culinary experience of the food and also atmosphere that's second to none. But more importantly, they're able to do it in such a way where we're able to capture it in recipes and class outlines. So when we hire new instructors, new assistants, they don't need to be professionally trained. They just need to have a love of food and a love of people, and we're able to train them through these outlines so that way they can duplicate the exact same premium experience that these 2 do on a regular basis. So how well are we doing? Well, we raised $110,000 in August from friends and family. By December 5th, we were open. Because of our aggressive go-to-market strategy, in December we were able to make $12,000 in revenue. In our second month, January, we were able to make our first profit of $3,100 on $11,500 in revenue. And we're planning to make $100,000 in operating profit this year. We're growing every month, and we expect to break even in August by this year. And right now, obviously, we're in the proof of concept stage. We're solidifying our business model. We're assuming we're getting our assumptions off on our market and our demographic, and that's going to allow us to transition into our growth stage, which we hope to hit this summer. We're going to open up 2 new locations. Our plan is by the end of this year, one in South Lake, one in Plano, because of customer concentration. You can see the capital requirements that we require and the way it's broken down there. But with your help today, and with the win for us, we can accelerate this process. I want you to keep in mind the team that's been able to make all this happen so far. This is a team that's taken an idea and made it into reality in 4 months. This is a company that in 10 weeks has over $30,000 in revenue and has already turned a profit. This is a group of entrepreneurs that saw a gap in the marketplace and created something of value. And with that, I'll take any questions that you might have.
5 minutes for Q&A.
So I actually saw this on Twitter before I read your business plan. And I saw it and I thought, well, that's cool. But I'm not sure that I understood exactly why this was different from Sur La Table or Central Market until I read your business plan. So can you discuss a little more about how you're going to get the story out that this is really a dining experience and less of a cooking class? It's more of an event, so to speak.
A lot of that has to go back into our go-to-market strategy, and I think that some of that problem is going to be answered through time. But if you look at our that's what this is. That's what we're trying to do there. And that's what we're trying to do with our key opinion drivers, so that way they can convey it, right? Because it's hard for me to just sit here and describe it. That's why we even have the video, right? So when you have Dallas Morning News publishes that and tells exactly that story to our customers that read it, right? Same thing with Oldham, same thing in Zagat, right? That's how we're trying to cross that bridge. We're a little early on. We've only been operating for 10 weeks. That's obviously no excuse, but that's why we're still aggressively doing it. We're in the next month, Modern Luxury Magazine. We're the next month of that. Dallas Design District blog posted us as the company for January. So those are the mechanisms that we're trying to show and highlight that we're different. I think just buying an advertisement on Facebook or buying an advertisement on Google doesn't quite convey that as well. And then customers won't see the value add. I think this and word of mouth is the best way.
I think that's true. I think there's a difference between having a brand story and then intertwining that into a brand narrative, which I think is probably the part that you're missing, is developing that narrative to get people from A to B. So my first question is, what are you going to do with the money? Because you seem to have been successful and found something here. So how does that scale your business? And then my second question is, you seem to sell experience, not convenience. So just because your market lives out in Frisco or South Lake, why wouldn't they come for the experience? Why do you have to go to them for experience? Because that's convenience.
Okay, so I'm going to answer your last part first. There's two reasons for that. One is, the Cookery is a destination type event, but we've had customers from the colony come down. They're like, I'd love to bring my friends, but we can't because it's too far, right? So moving it closer to them, right? Because the market, we still have the market. Dallas has enough market to satisfy one of our stores, right? We can open another one without cannibalizing that, and we're able to capture that other area where these customers are. But one store is, so the way we scale is by opening up more of these, right? So one store can have a maximum operating profit of about $450,000. That's roughly 40 classes a month. Going to these areas where there's high customer saturation, we can accomplish that, and we can open up another. And then the first part of your question was,
What are you going to do with the money?
oh, what do we do with the money? So
We have about $50,000 right now within the company, but we still have that first store that is we're still operating. We need money in order to open up these other stores because the capital expenditure for opening them up is pretty high. We were able to build out our space for about $40,000. That's bootstrapping it. In order to do it right, in order to accommodate more people, we're going to need to build out a bigger space, and that's going to cost more money. If we waited until the store is able to self-finance, rather than opening up this summer, maybe we're opening up next year. Like I heard the last, it's like, it is raised, like, not as intense as IoT security, but nonetheless, like we want to build and we want to establish the Cookery brand like right in the areas where our places are. And we don't want to like build and just grow out wide. Like these are just the places we're going. But after that, we're going to go to Fort Worth, and then we're going to move to Harris County, and then and Austin. Like our goal isn't to like own Olive House and then move on. Is to build these stores, establish a brand, and then build out from there.
Okay, so right now you're located where?
In the Dallas Design District.
Okay.
On Dragon Street, everybody.
On Dragon Street, everybody. And then you gave us a little bit detail on your growth. So you said there's 40 fully booked classes with 14 people is your maximum capacity. That's because there's one evening and on a weekend you can do two or.
So it has to do with time constraints. So each class is 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't have, and there's also only some time. Like no one wants to take a 6 a.m. class, right? We're
Yeah.
more of an evening.
Pancakes. Yeah.
Pancakes.
No, I'm joking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No one state, no one, we have about 2 classes a day is about the maximum that we can do.
Uh-huh.
Satisfy the time and quality that customers want. And then it has to do with that we need at least 1 day in order to reset the, a day a week to reset the studio to the actual,
Okay.
clean, mop, repolish the floor.
Got it. Yeah.
Um,
No, you already asked two. So I get a second one. Anybody else want one? Oh, here we go. Share the wealth.
Just a couple questions. How do you make this scalable? I would think that you've got to at least think about franchising, think about, right, or you can build it yourself, certainly, if you can reinvest your profits and get additional financing. But just your thoughts on that. And then secondly, as you get bigger, even as you open up your second store, how do you think about ensuring the quality of the experience stays the way you intended it to be? Because that tends to fall away as you move further away from each store that you personally manage. So kind of what processes, what systems, how do you think about that, and what level of overhead do you think that incurs in the company?
I love that question because the answers are intertwined. The end state is to franchise, and our goal is to establish ourselves. The goal is to establish ourselves as a recognizable brand, regionally at least, and a solidified business model and a value add that we can actually give a potential franchisee. And we know that because there's a similar concept here in Dallas that's made a lot of mistakes. They're pioneering the way, you can tell, because they have a lot of arrows in their back. And that's one of the things that we learned. They franchise too quickly, quality suffered. But we're able to capture the quality of each class by having, if you look, we have very detailed lists on exactly how class structure goes. Little value adds, little cooking tips and tricks. The way that instructor goes, and Kelly, they're chefs, but obviously there's only a finite amount of chefs. We can't rely on that. But if we can bring in an assistant or instructor, and I've seen this work in other areas, where you can give them a script basically and a recipe to follow, and then we have a very multi-stage step for that person to go from light assisting to heavy assisting to partially teaching to teaching. And then there's a trade-off there, and then teaching the whole class while being observed. And then that's how we guarantee quality. And so when we do franchise, that's the kind that we'd be able to harness that experience, and then that's basically what we're selling to the potential franchising.
Got it. Very good.
Do you have time for one more quick follow-up question? So to go along with Ed's question about quality, how do you ensure, if I'm going to pay $95 a class, which is more expensive than your competitors, I would want to take a class from a chef. I would feel kind of gypped if I was taking one from someone that didn't have that training. So how are you going to make me as a consumer feel like I'm getting that high quality culinary experience from someone that's qualified to do that?
So that's a good question. No one's ever asked for the credentials of the instructors. Fiona is a cordon-bleu trained chef, impeccable resume, but what we've only seen is a concentration on experience. And when you have someone, your friend, tell you that this is an incredible experience, right? Or you read on, Zach, this is something, that's the legitimacy, right? That's the legitimacy that we have. It's not that, because Central Market does that. Central Market puts out there and go, we have Chef Ron from so-and-so. I don't know who Chef Ron is, but he's teaching a class, you go there 40, 50 people, the experience stinks, But you have the cookery, and it's just an incredible experience. And you know it's an incredible experience because either you've known about it, you've seen about it, you read about it, you heard about it. And I think that lessens that because no one's ever been concerned about architecture.
Thank you very much.